AI has developed its own fog machine. Everyone says agent, token, context, RAG, embedding, reasoning, fine-tuning, guardrails. The words sound technical, but often nobody has defined what they actually mean. That matters because vague words create vague decisions. If you cannot tell whether you need a bigger context window, a better retrieval system, a fine-tune, or just a cleaner workflow, you do not have an AI strategy. You have expensive mist. So this is not a glossary, it is a map. We are going to define the most abused AI terms by placing each one inside a working system. Input, memory, tools, decisions, safety, and evaluation. First, tokens. A token is the unit the model actually reads. Not exactly a word, not exactly a character. Tokens are why long conversations cost more, why models have limits, and why compressing context is not just tidying, it is engineering. Second, the context window. Think of it as the model's working desk. It is everything the model can see right now. Your prompt, recent messages, files, tool results, instructions. But it is not permanent memory. When the desk gets crowded, important things fall off the edge. Memory is different. Memory is information stored outside the immediate chat and brought back later. Good memory is selective. Preferences, decisions, lessons, constraints. Bad memory is a junk drawer with confidence. The quality of an agent often depends on what it remembers and what it deliberately forgets. An embedding is meaning turned into coordinates. Instead of searching only for exact words, a system can search for related ideas. That is how it can connect receipt from Mammoth with ski trip expense, even if the words are not identical. A vector database stores those meaning coordinates and finds nearby ones quickly. It is useful, but it is not magic memory. It does not know what is true. It finds what is similar. Similarity is powerful, but similarity is not judgment. RAG means Retrieval Augmented Generation. In plain English, first fetch relevant material, then ask the model to answer using it. RAG is how you make a model less dependent on whatever it already learned. But bad retrieval plus confident writing is still bad output wearing a lab coat. Fine-tuning means training a model further so its behavior changes. It can be useful for style, formats, or specialized patterns, but it is often the wrong first move. If the problem is missing information, use retrieval. If the problem is messy process, fix the workflow. Do not fine-tune your way out of bad architecture. An agent is not just a chatbot with a cooler name. An agent is a model inside an operating loop. It receives a goal, chooses actions, uses tools, observes results, updates its plan, and continues. The loop matters more than the label. Tool use is where language touches the world. The model calls software, browser, files, calendar, code, APIs, messages. This is where agents become useful and where they become risky. Reading a file is one thing. Sending a message, spending money, or deleting data needs stronger gates. A reasoning model is tuned to spend more effort on multi-step problems. That can be valuable for planning, debugging, math, architecture, and judgment. But it is not always better. Using a reasoning model for simple formatting is like hiring a surgeon to butter toast. Guardrails are boundaries before action, permissions, checks, refusals, and review gates. Weak guardrails are a terms of service costume. Strong guardrails are product architecture. They decide what the agent is allowed to read, say, change, and publish. An eval is a repeatable test for whether the system works. It can measure accuracy, safety, task completion, style, latency, cost, or failure recovery. Without evals, you are mostly vibe-checking your automation and hoping the ghost in the spreadsheet behaves. Here is the useful move. When someone uses an AI term, ask, what part of the system are we talking about? Input, working context, stored knowledge, retrieval, model behavior, tools, safety, evaluation? Once you know the layer, the fog clears. AI stops being mysterious when the vocabulary becomes architecture. Tokens and context explain limits. Embeddings, vector databases, and RAG explain retrieval. Fine-tuning explains behavior. Agents and tools explain action. Guardrails and evals explain whether any of this should be trusted. That is the goal of Agent Flow Labs. Clearer words, better systems, less expensive mist. If this was useful, keep the map. The next time someone says agentic workflow or RAG pipeline, you will know where to look.